My friend Reagan sobbed at my baby shower about her miscarriage 6 months ago and made it all about her. So I fed her a fake abuse story, and her mom exposed her in front of her entire trauma support group with baby photos, proving she'd been lying about everything. Reagan loves to retell my private trauma stories as her own. My essay as a child became hers when she wanted to confront her past in a college lecture. My cousin's near-death crash left her in a wheelchair for 6 months. At our friend's birthday, she used my house fire as a kid to explain why she couldn't go near candles. But when I told her that Jack and I were pregnant, Reagan's seemingly happy face had this hint of sour behind it. The next day, I made my announcement post, and within minutes, Reagan was flooding the comments with, "Congratulations, this reminds me I need to share something." She then wrote a novel reply to her own comment, all about how me having a baby reminds her of when her baby brother was born and her mom became abusive towards her, our friend Maya's experience. At my work lunch to celebrate, Reagan showed up uninvited, and when my boss made a toast, she started sobbing about how group celebrations triggered her because of the cult she escaped from. She monopolized the entire lunch describing rituals and brainwashing I recognized from a Netflix documentary we'd watched. I posted our gender reveal video, and within an hour, Reagan was live streaming herself having a panic attack about her stalker escalating. She told everyone she'd been getting death threats and found a tracking device on her car that morning. She talked about the roses left on the doorstep and the weird breathing on the voicemails. It was actually our coworker Jenna's story from 2 months ago. I was already on the edge of snapping at her when the baby shower snapped. Everything was perfect until the gifts. I actually thought Reagan wouldn't do anything. But then, as I was unwrapping a tiny onesie, I heard this sad whimpering coming from across the room. I turned around and saw Reagan with her head down sobbing. Her cries got louder and louder by the second. She wouldn't stop crying until everyone was paying attention to her, and my mom and sister were holding her hands. They asked her what's wrong, and after another minute of wiping her eyes and getting her breathing together, she managed to speak. "I'm so happy for you," she gasped between sobs. "But this reminds me so much of my baby boy. I miscarried him 6 months ago." Everyone went silent. My aunt asked why she'd never mentioned this before. "Because it happened 6 months ago," Reagan whimpered. "I was going to name him after my father, who died saving me when a man broke into our house." This was also Jenna's story. "I even had the nursery already. I just didn't want to burden anyone with my pain." Some of my family who hadn't ever met Reagan began consoling her immediately, taking her to the bathroom to talk to her. Some of my friends began offering their support and discussing how brave she was for coming here, given she had been through that. My baby shower ended up becoming her grief counseling session. Every photo has her red face in the background. She left early, so everyone spent the rest of the party discussing her loss instead of my actual baby. That night, I went to bed devastated, but woke up the next morning with a plan. If Reagan wanted attention, then she would get it. I started by telling Reagan that I had a secret I'd never shared with anyone. Her ears perked up, and she instantly invited me over to come talk. After a few dramatic gestures and sobs of not wanting to talk about it anymore, I spun this elaborate story about being abandoned at a fire station as a baby. I told her my mom isn't my real mom, she's my adoptive mom, and growing up, she hit me with belts and made me eat on the floor. I threw in real details from my actual childhood trauma that she'd already stolen and repurposed to make it sound more real. She consoled me and held me and promised my secret was safe with me, but I saw her eyes just light up.